Welcome, friends. It is the 340th edition of Unlocked. It's IGN's Xbox show. It is the world's #1 Xbox show. We've got yet another fun week of Xbox news coming up on the show this week. Red Faction is back in the news, and you get a chance to play it once again. We'll tell you more about that coming up, as well as another game from that you've heard a lot about, and maybe if you're an Xbox-only gamer, haven't ever played No Man's Sky, you're finally going to get your chance. We'll talk more about that. Plus, big news with Middle-earth Shadow of War, and we'll talk a little bit of more on Sea of Thieves and legendary pirate status. That was the sort of big carrot on the end of the stick there. We've got some news on that front. All right, I'm Ryan McCaffrey, running a three-person crew this week. We've got Miranda off to PAX East. Although
East.
Alana, I know you're joining her shortly.
Yep.
So glad you managed to take a later flight.
Yeah.
So you could be here. Appreciate it. Alana Pierce, Brandon Tyrell.
Howdy.
Hi.
What's up?
Hello.
Sup? Well, I don't know. Where do we want to start? Actually, Brandon, I want to start real quick just by putting a bow on
Sea of Thieves?
No, State of Decay 2 first.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, we
Yes.
so our month of IGN first coverage is wrapped.
It is.
Very proud of the work that we all did. I think just again, I'm exiting this month wanting to play more of the game.
Yeah,
which
and
is always a good sign.
I think that's a really good place to be, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. We both played quite a bit of it, and then you got to sit in while the developers played it last week.
Yeah, they came by. They were very nice. Jeff Strain and Richard Fogey came down here, and we streamed the same build that they had showed us.
Right.
Although obviously it's State of Decay, it's a systems-based game. Different stuff happened.
Yep.
We were looking. It's funny. You were watching from the IGN bullpen, waiting for cool things to happen to break out as their own little video, and then finally, so every time I'm like looking the whole time. Where's the Juggernaut? Where's the Juggernaut?
Yeah.
Finally, we got like two at the end.
Yeah, we found one initially.
It didn't go well.
It
for
did-
Richard Fogey, who was playing the game.
Didn't pan out. Yeah. The second one, things went much better. So that's actually, we broke that out. It's on the site. I think it's called, excuse me. I think it's called A Juggernaut Will Kill Your Whole Team or ruin your whole,
Spoilers, man.
wipe out your whole team or something. So that's a fun video to watch if you haven't seen it yet. I recommend you check that out. But yeah, man, teamwork makes the dream work. It was a lot of fun. All month long, we did a lot of cool content, and I'm excited to see more. If you are headed to PAX East, like Alana and Miranda are, you can actually play it on the show floor.
Yeah, I would really recommend you do that.
Well, Miranda's also going to be playing and capturing for the first time Below. So she'll have impressions of Below as well from actually being able to get gameplay. So there's a couple of exciting Xbox things going on.
Yeah. Yeah.
I wanted to ask, did you guys talk about Far Cry last week?
I don't think we ended up getting to because
Talking about Far Cry?
I don't remember.
I don't think we recorded early because I forget why.
We didn't.
Like we hadn't played it yet. Basically, only the reviewer had played it.
Oh, we recorded early because we had the guys coming in later on, right?
Right. Yeah, of course. That's what it was.
Anyway.
No,
Well,
we're
it's
here
a
now.
very
no,
fun
it
game.
was the sponsored daily fix shoot. We got booted out of here.
Oh, because I wasn't even here for it.
Oh.
They had
Anyway,
Kratos showed up or
whatever.
whatever.
The audience
the
doesn't
one we
care.
can't talk about yet. Yeah.
Fine. Anyway, no, we didn't.
We did not
should
talk
a little
about
bit
it.
about that. Actually,
Yes.
that's a good
But you've played quite a bit
segue
of it. Yeah.
into it.
I'm unclear on how much. I think I've played like just under 10 hours.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So I think I've played a bit,
Yeah.
but I don't know because I was super jet lagged. So
Yeah.
like in my head, it could be 3 hours. I don't know.
I think I remember what happened.
No clue.
Yeah.
But I'm really enjoying it, and I think it's like it's the same kind of satisfaction that I got from Far Cry 3. And I think there are camps of people, like I really love Far Cry 3. Some people love 4 and Primal.
Yeah.
And it's like you tend to like one or
Right.
the other, basically. And I like this almost as much as I love.
Yeah, it's funny you say that because 5 is the same team as 3.
Right.
4 and Primal
Yeah,
were
so it's
different
like
teams.
the two camps, and that's the people don't seem to like
It does seem like
either
it.
one of those.
Yeah, I'm still on the first island. I'm probably 2, maybe 3 hours in. I'm not even as far as you, but
Regions.
I do
They're
really
regions
like it
this
so
time.
far.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's I haven't even gotten a bow and arrow yet, but I've done the first couple of outposts, liberated those, and those I've been able to successfully do with stealth.
I think it's a little bit harder to do this time stealthily than it was in 3,
Well,
which
I guess
I like.
I'm only on these beginning ones, but it's just like, okay, well, all right, we'll go that person first. You just got to kind of map it out in
Yeah.
your head, and it's been fun so far. I can't wait. I want to get Boomer, get the dog.
That's what he's really helpful because he can scout everything out and then come back to you and just you'll see where everyone is.
Oh,
so you don't have to
tags the
tag
people?
That's what I mean.
You
Yeah.
send them to the opposite side of the outpost, and you just see boop, 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 boop. Like he starts tagging all
It's
the
so
enemies.
handy.
Yeah.
Yeah. So he's really cool. I do think one of the other characters, who's it, Faith? Have you met her yet? I think she's really interesting. Like there are a lot of interesting characters in the world. I think the villains, like while I don't really know what they stand for entirely,
Right.
are also really interesting. But for the most part, it's just like the game is really fun. Like I'm really enjoying playing it in the same way that I've enjoyed most Far Cry games, but it does build off of the others as well. So I think it's like a solid evolution of the series.
Yeah, I totally agree. I had a very long weekend this weekend and played a whole bunch of Far Cry 5. I'm almost done with it. I'm probably 40, 50 hours in, I want to say.
That's a lot.
Well, you've been on
didn't know it was that
fire
long.
lately between you had to marathon like 40 hours of Sea of Thieves
Yeah.
inside a week, and now you're
Yeah.
burning the midnight oil on Far Cry 5.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
impressive.
Thank you. I haven't actually been able to play video games like this in a long time, so I really enjoy like sort of getting back to the binge approach, which I like because I'm the kind of guy where if I set a game down and don't touch it for a couple months, I'll probably just never go back.
I'm that way too.
Yeah. I'm
so I'm
worried about
really-
that with Monster Hunter.
I was actually just having this conversation with Casey yesterday. We played a little bit of Monster Hunter yesterday. I'm like, I got to go back within a week or two because the expiration date is quickly
The
approaching.
ember is burning out.
Yeah,
on
I
that
know.
one.
Yeah.
It's rough.
Far Cry 5, just echoing your guys' sentiments, I think that game is cool. I'm not as invested in the story as I thought I would be, but the world is just so big and dumb and there's so much to do. But I am at that point now where I felt like I've sort of seen and done all the activities they offer. And so I'm starting to get kind of diminishing returns on that. But the end of the light at the end of the tunnel is so close that I feel like I could just sort of pull the trigger and finish the game within the next 5 hours.
But also, if it took you 50 hours to get to the point where you're getting diminishing returns, that's
Exactly.
pretty good value.
Exactly.
Yeah.
good.
But in terms of the story being uninteresting, I'm recording a feature about that like right after this about I really don't like that it has a silent protagonist. I could elaborate on that for hours, but I don't know. I wish that they had like built more of a character and at least had dialogue. Like you have grunts, but that's pretty much it. And I don't hate silent protagonists. There are a lot of games where I think it works really well.
Yeah.
It's just in this case, it feels like it's lacking and the story doesn't feel as cohesive because of it, I think.
I think it's a double-edged sword because on one end you have the silent protagonist that puts you in immersion, and I understand why they did it because a lot of the story beats, without spoiling anything, a lot of the story beats are very up close and personal, and it's a sort of heart-wrenching tale or morality and all that, and you know they're looking at you in the eyes for most of the cutscenes, and it's jarring at first. But I agree with you that I think a protagonist could have fleshed things out because, like you were saying yesterday, I'm not silent in that situation, you know.
Right. I would say things.
On the other side of that coin, you get, what is it, Brody from Far Cry 3?
Yeah, Jason Brody.
Who just, man.
I thought he was
Yeah.
bad, but then
I liked him, but from a comedic
But then
point of view.
Aiden Pierce came out and it was like, ooh, oh, protagonists get worse. But so now I'm like, I kind of miss Jason Brody because I think that he was almost ironically Brody.
Yeah.
He was supposed to be a little bit cheesy, so it was like kind of okay. But
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's
All
why,
my friends, man.
yeah,
he didn't even care about
All
them.
my friends.
they're all captured, but I got these sweet tats.
It's interesting hearing you guys say this only because, so we gave it an 8.9, a
Yeah.
great 0.9 on the IGN scale. And I know I've been hearing chatter in the office and from Damon Hatfield, our reviewer, that apparently the ending is something to behold
Yeah.
one way or the other.
That's what I've heard too,
So-
from multiple people
Yeah.
who have very different viewpoints on games. So I'm really curious to see how this ends, which is why I'm, continuing. But like you said, after 50 hours, man, I got a lot of runtime out of this game. So I had a lot of fun. There's a lot of really cool secondary characters and side characters. Some of the dialogue is really well written, and some of it's just. I was actually just going to swear for a second. Some of it's
See
just
the swear word you
yeah,
were saying.
yeah. Some of it is that it's just sort of weird and a little silly, but. Far Cry does that thing where it mixes sort of like the hyper serious with the hyper silly, and sometimes it works. I'm not sure if it does in this game yet, but I'm enjoying just taking more of both sides in.
Well, I know what you mean by interesting characters because I hired the very first buddy I could.
Yeah.
Not a specialist, but just like a
Oh,
random.
just some dude in a baseball hat.
Yeah.
yeah.
And his NPC name, which I have to think this is on purpose and not a procedurally generated assembled name.
Right.
It's Dennis Hopper.
Oh my
Which
god.
so I was like, all right. I like where we're going.
We're gonna get the boys back at the lab on a machinima right now. Recreate that scene from Speed. It took me 20 years.
So yeah, it's good stuff on Far Cry 5.
Yeah.
Ubisoft is they've been pretty good about Q1 releases for most years. I feel like there's usually a big game.
Yeah.
out in the early
For
part of the
Honor
year.
was that last year?
It was, and Ghost Recon.
Wildlands.
That was February.
Yeah.
And then Watch Dogs was the year before.
South Park
I
a
wanna
few
say.
years
South Park.
ago. Yeah.
South Park was last year.
Well, the first one, because the Fractured Butthole was October. was spaced it out this time.
I actually saw
enunciated
you.
extra
I saw you put
carefully.
the ellipses in there. Fractured, but whole.
Whoa.
Which is, I think, what the marketing
With
was
the
trying to
WH.
drive home.
Whoa.
Cool.
But yeah, like the year before that was Watch Dogs 1 in March, I want to say.
Yeah,
Right?
they are good about
April?
that.
Yeah. The early releases. I'm curious. They know what they're doing now. I mean, they've built a 10-year run of doing open world games. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
Before we move to this week's news, this is a little newsy, so it's got kind of a segue. Brandon, I wanted to talk real quick about Sea of Thieves and the legendary pirate status.
Oh, man.
There was the first person has achieved it this past week
with
a huge asterisk, like a
Yeah.
Barry Bonzian kind of asterisk on it.
Yeah.
with no small dose of except.
Yeah, I mean, we've gotten so much feedback to Unlocked at IGN.com about Sea of Thieves both ways. People saying,
Yeah.
"Oh man, thank you guys for talking this game up over the years and I'm
Right.
really having a good time with it." And other people like, "Man, this game's completely let me down. It's so hollow, it's so empty. It's really across the board." And I think we've said everything we need to say about it. And I think I think last week's episode we laid it all out there, both good and bad. And in fact, I was just looking this morning. The Metacritic for the game landed at, if you're into that kind of thing, landed at 69. So right at
Nice.
It's just
You
because
can't
you said if you're into that kind of thing, and then you said 69 is what made me like. I thought it was intentional. I thought you were doing a setup.
It's funny because I actually saw the Metacritic score and I was like, oh my God, he's going to say
Nice.
it. And I had that one in the chamber.
I work with children.
Yeah,
people.
yeah, you do.
Children. That's good though. It's
Yeah, I mean, it's always.
yeah, so
I never review a game trying to nail the.
Well, you
Metacritic
also
score.
don't look.
Yeah,
I mean,
that's the thing is, I think we were one.
We
were one of the last outlets to put ours up because I took 6 days, I want to say, to do it.
Yeah.
I think I posted on the morning of the 7th. And yeah, I saw on my Twitter feed that reviews had started to come in, and it's always this sort of like, man, I really wonder what other people think. And then it's one of those like immediately turn your phone off because I don't want to see what other people think.
Yeah, and
I don't want it to affect me at all.
Oh, absolutely. Because
Yeah.
there are certain people that I'll try not to talk to about things because I know, like, if I'm trying to review something, I'd be
Their
like,
opinion carries weight with you.
know that
Yeah.
what you think will affect what I
Yeah.
think, and
Yeah.
it can be really difficult to separate yourself from that.
It's also tough when you're reviewing and like 80 people a day come up and be like, so how is it? And you're like,
Well-
first of all, I've only played 5 hours.
Reviewing
Second of
things
all-
in the office, the worst thing is people walk past and see a snippet of something and they're like, that looks dumb.
Yeah.
And I'm like, does it look dumb?
Is it dumb?
Is
I don't know.
it dumb? Oh no. It's
But,
like real dumb.
but that Metacritic score, the point of that is
Nice.
to say that it really is that sort of across the board of some people super loving it and some people really down on it.
Actually, if you go into it, there's like 250 positive and like 240 negative and like 30 mixed.
Yeah, and-
so it's a real like divisive.
And I know a lot of people would, or not a lot, but there are people out there that would look at that and go, "Oh, Metacritic of 69, what an absolute bomb disaster for Rare." And Microsoft's like, "No,
What up,
it's
Brody?"
not. It's not at all. I mean, it's just reflective of like there's just like you said last week, Brendan. There is a foundation here. That, I mean. It is a skeleton. It is a pirate skeleton that needs meat on the bones.
Absolutely,
And unfortunately, the much ballyhooed legendary pirate status does not appear to be the immediate solution to the game's content issues.
it seems like it's a bit of a letdown. Having not experienced it myself, all of the information I have is just third party from what I've seen people do online. But let's run down a quick list of what you get when you hit Legendary Pirate status.
Yes.
If you don't want to hear this and you want to experience it organically, give me like 3 minutes and skip ahead.
I think you probably wouldn't mind hearing this, though, or we'll just spare you the.
It also
Anyway,
helps with your
whatever.
expectations and
Yeah,
Manage your expectations. Again,
it's nice. Of
this
you to put
boils back to the kernel of what I said in the review, which is Sea of Thieves is 2 different games. If you just want to hang out with your friends and have dumb fun, you can do that while you grind and you'll have a great time. If you actually want to beat this video game and progress fast and like get to where you're wanting to go as soon as possible, this is probably not the experience for you. So yeah, when you hit Legendary Pirate status, that's getting 50 in all 3 factions. which is by no means an easy feat. You get a new shanty that you can play. The reason you get a new shanty, when you play your instruments, the reason you get that is because it unlocks the secret panel for the legendary tavern, which is your legendary pirate outpost. So you get to go down in there. You get a purple legendary outfit, which is very ornate and royal looking, like purple adorned with gold and all that. Looks pretty cool. And then you get new quest lines, which are the Athena's Blessings quest lines, or the Athena quest line, which is to find legendary chests that are the best chests in the game. I think they reward somewhere between 2.5 to 5K.
Right.
Legit.
There's a rumor that you can get costumes and outfit parts in there, but through all my searching on the internet, I haven't seen anyone actually do that. The problem with the voyages, though, is that the voyages are not any new activities outside of what you've done to get to 50 with each faction. So you'll pick up a legendary voyage and you have 8 spots on your wheel and they all fill up. So you got to do 3 Order of Souls and 2 merchant quests and 3 gold hoarder quests. So you're doing the same stuff. It's just you got to do them all before you can turn it in, which takes hours.
Yeah.
And you can't log off.
No, you can't.
Come back later.
You can't log off. It's chapter steps. So you have to do them all before you log off. So you're basically looking at a 2 to 3, maybe more hour play session just to get one of these chests, and then you get it. You take it in, turn it in, you get the money, you get the rep, and that rep is used to purchase various items from a ghostly outfit, like a ghost pirate. When you're on the Ferry of the Damned, you see that guy at the wheel?
Yeah.
Something akin to that.
I mean, that's pretty cool.
It looks super cool, but you can only buy, I believe, 1 piece per reputation level, so you got to keep doing these voyages over and over and over. And then, unfortunately, the cosmetic stuff for the ship doesn't appear to be in the game yet. I think that's being added in a later content update.
Right.
So yeah, man, you get the purple legendary outfit, you get the new quest lines. It's going to take you hours. You rank up with these legendary faction to get pieces to buy the ghost ship, and that appears to be just about it right now.
All right.
So it's once you do the grind and get there, a little bit more grinding for cooler, more exclusive content. Or by content, I mean cosmetics.
Yeah.
So that's really it. To their credit, Rare's patching out some of the bigger things this week, I believe. The first patch comes out, or hotfix comes out on Wednesday, April 4th, I want to say. And they're
by the time this airs.
By the time this airs, yeah. And they're addressing some sort of, or they're doing some sort of fix for the ship respawning, the proximity of the ships respawning issue, along with some housekeeping stuff of achievements not proccing for people, or your gold and your reputation aren't, being identified or collected. There's a delay sometimes due to the server. So some quality of life stuff and the ship thing, which I think will help a lot, but no content in the foreseeable future.
So it really sounds like the end of the day here, almost 2 weeks post-launch on Sea of Thieves. The best way to go into it, if somebody hasn't played it yet out there in our audience, is if you just approach it as a fun social hangout with your friends, that's just take it for that. Yeah. And don't expect a lot of depth to it for the time being, and maybe down the road they'll have fleshed out some of the content.
This is kind of how we've been talking about it from the start, though, right?
Yeah.
In that it is really, really fun to play with other people. To me, it just keeps making me think of Destiny 1, where sure, that game mechanically felt incredible, so it was great, but it ultimately wasn't a game until the first content patch dropped.
That's true.
And I want to support Sea of Thieves because it is another one of these, even No Man's Sky situations where it's a road to greatness, but you have to support it to get there. And there's a discussion around that, but it's still going to be fun if you play it with friends, pretty much.
I totally agree. And see, for me, again, I've said this a million times, but I am not a gamer at this stage of my life who can or even wants to invest
the 200 hours it takes.
All that time. Yeah. I am fine with that, more of just a drop in, drop out, have a good time with my friends for, 1 or 2 nights a week. Yeah. And then as the content evolves in 6 months or a year from now and there's more there,
coming back and leaving,
then
and
great. I'll experience it once it's there.
Yeah.
So I guess it's the verdict on Sea of Thieves now seems to be, if it's all about managing your expectations for it. If you go in expecting that Destiny, that fleshed out Destiny grind,
The Taken King expansion. grind.
That's exactly what it
you're
is.
going to probably leave disappointed.
Yeah.
Still want to encourage people to play with friends though, because
I do
it's still
too.
some of the best experiences I've had.
And,
It's
and
so
I
much
keep,
fun.
and
That's what I
to
said
be
last
clear,
week,
like,
yeah.
I get.
Don't
I'm
give up
getting
on it. Just
Yeah.
way more tweets like that and
Yeah.
feedback like that from people than people who are down on it. Like the experience is there, the core of it is there, and that should not be discounted at all.
Yeah, totally.
and yeah,
It's
I
hard
mean,
to quantify it, really.
Yes.
I see a lot of people upset that, the shallow level of content is what's being offered for $60. But again, if you haven't bought it and you're curious about it, you can easily pick it up for $10.
Game Pass.
Yeah, Game Pass. A month subscription of Game Pass is $10. You can check it out. If you don't like it, set it down. Check it out again 6 months later or a year later if you want to. So we'll see. I think Microsoft knew kind of what they were doing with the pricing strategy and knowing that this is a long tail game. So we'll see if you see that resurgence of players when more content comes later this year.
Yeah.
All right. Speaking of games of that have evolved over time, you've got No Man's Sky, which is finally on the way to Xbox.
Hey,
It's coming this summer. It's going to include every single content update that's been done to date, including a new content update, which Hello Games promises it to be the biggest one yet, and it's being referred to as the next update. No Man's Sky next. Unfortunately, we don't have any details of what's in that update, but speaking personally, I haven't played since launch. I played when it first came out. And then just as sort of the nature of our jobs, we're very lucky that we're always having to cover and move on to the next thing. But the downside of that is I just don't really have the time to stick with something like a No Man's Sky or anything else for that matter, because there's always the next game around the corner. So I want to see what this game has turned into and what this next update will be adding to it.
Yeah, I mean, I actually can't speak so much to this because I've never actually played No Man's Sky. I own it on PS4 and I wanted to give myself, like we were just talking about, one of those weekends where I didn't have anything to do and I could sit in my pajamas and just play No Man's Sky for 3 days. That never happened for me, but I've always been interested in this and I'm really curious to see what experiencing this game like for the first time after all this content will change my opinion versus what I've seen or heard from other people who played it at launch.
The biggest issue with the launch of No Man's Sky, and it is an easy thing to contrast with Sea of Thieves, is that they unintentionally kind of lied. Like they said there would be things in No Man's Sky that did not end up coming to No Man's Sky on release. Whereas I don't think that Rare did that with Sea of Thieves.
No, I think Rare did a pretty fair job of never over-promising with Sea of Thieves.
Whereas with No Man's Sky they did. So that really soured the release. And I've played it. I played it on launch and didn't like it. Didn't expect to like it though. I wasn't excited about it. There's actually a petition to get me fired because I said I thought the game would be bad. Fun fact. And then I played it again 6 months later. So that's not even the most recent content update. And the changes were significant.
Yeah.
Like enough that it was like, okay, this is more of what I wanted on launch. So I imagine that now it's actually going to be a pretty well fleshed out experience. So I think this game does something that's very, very different. It's very pretty, and it is almost meditative. Like it's a fun thing to get lost in, and I'm really glad that the version that we're getting on Xbox is the version that, funnily enough, is like kind of the one that's been actually improved upon. It's like Xbox players who are getting it fresh don't have that gross kind of hype that let everyone else down. You're just getting like the best version of the game.
It's really interesting that you said meditative, because that's exactly the next point I was going to make was, for me, my biggest takeaway from the time I did spend with No Man's Sky at launch was exactly that. I liked that it's a very chill game because it's you in the universe and you can just fly around and do whatever you want and take it at your own pace, and you can turn up the heat a little bit and get yourself into a
bandit
sticky
pirate,
situation, but you can also just explore. You can be Spaceman Spiff from Calvin and Hobbes, straight out of Calvin's imagination, and just fly around. And I do really like that about it. Yeah,
it has some nice variety. It's a pretty game. It's like at launch again, planets didn't look super different. Now they do more. So I don't know. How do we know how much it's going to be?
They did not
Xbox?
announce a price yet. I'd
be curious to see.
I would assume full price,
Yeah.
unless we're told otherwise. Especially with all these updates. Although guess I'll take a look while you guys are talking if the price has dropped at all on on PS4 and
I think it
PC.
probably has, but I don't know. And this is actually another one that I Am 8-Bit came out with the collector's edition for, with the same as Inside, where they did it like several months after with a little one of the ships basically like physically made. It was super cool, but I don't think you can get those anymore. But it's something that in every case I feel like they've supported long term, and I hope. Yeah, you've written that here. I hope people give it a chance, basically.
It's still $60 on Steam.
It seems like a lot.
And on PS4, let's see here.
I'd be curious to see. I mean, they're updating it with content, so I wonder if that's the justification for keeping it full price.
GameStop's listing a disc box copy at $20, but digital still $60.
Yeah,
so.
that's used then.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
No, I mean there's pre-owned $19.99, new $19.97. Maybe it's just must be on sale. Huh. So probably still $60 is the point of that. But yeah, and as for people wondering why now, because it's out this summer, which will be 2 years later. The exact release date hasn't been announced, but I'm sure the release date will be tied more to the next update than anything else. But my suspicion is that the Sony contract was 2 years.
Yeah, I imagine so.
Whatever day I think it shipped in, was it July or August?
I think it was July because
I thought it was earlier in the year.
We did a first,
it was supposed to be.
Yeah.
We did a first after E3, which was in June.
I, for whatever reason, felt like it was super early in the year, but I could be totally crazy.
Remember, I mean, it was delayed a few times.
Yeah.
Oh, that's true too.
But yeah, I'll see if I can find it.
Yeah, I thought the exact same thing, Ryan. And this is a question that's like, what does exclusive even mean anymore? With Hellblade as well? It's like, what does the word mean now? Nothing? It's like, I don't know.
August 9th.
Well,
it did get delayed from
Hellblade was going to be exclusive because it was being published by Sony, which I don't know what happened to that deal, but Ninja Theory ended up publishing it on their own, which I imagine affected their ability to bring it to Xbox One because the game's only been out for 6 months, maybe, right?
I thought that came out
at the end of last year.
Yeah, you're right.
I reviewed it.
Yeah.
Oh, was it that recently?
I
further back.
It was like September, maybe.
I feel like it was August, September, October.
I think it was August. I'm going to look it up now also because I don't want to just sit here and be wrong and have our audience be going, it was this day.
Oh, man.
I'm just terrible at remembering dates of things. It's like the thing that I'm the worst at. It's awful. But I don't know. These two. Sony still supported them as being PlayStation exclusive releases. That's how it was advertised. I just don't know what that means now. Like we're not going to see Sea of Thieves on PlayStation. I
don't know if it was in the the later part right before launch, but I know what you're talking about because I have that Hellblade Sony exclusive thing in my mind from the 3 years prior that we saw it. Like we all saw, the actress who plays Senua up on stage doing like the real time facial animations that they were touting that year. I maybe the lesson here is like get in early, even if the marketing deal doesn't stick. Like the audience and the consumers like build that relationship in their head.
Yeah,
you could have. You see this group of people out there that are like, oh, just okay, well, Xbox, all they can get is old PlayStation games. Like, no, it's...
I don't even think Xbox is trying to. I don't think this would have been a situation where Xbox approached Ninja Theory. Right. I think it would have been Ninja Theory being like, hey, we want this also.
And it's exactly the same thing as Tomb Raider. It was a year contract, and guess what? Like, almost a year to the day, Rise of the Tomb Raider came out on PS4. It's just business. That's just how this stuff works. And in the case of Hellblade, it's a game we know is excellent, coming to Xbox One this month, and that's a good thing. And with No Man's Sky, like you were saying, Alana, it's a chance for, kind of maybe the real 1.0 version that didn't come out 2 years ago, that Xbox players will be starting from a fresh perspective and a fresh point on it. So it's just good to see.
Well, I ultimately think that games on every platform is good for everyone.
Yeah, I agree.
I just like be for everyone. Everyone can play them. This is great. Like, I don't see the downside.
Yeah, I don't really care what plastic box makes the experience. I just really I love a bunch of Bloodborne's one of my favorite games of all time. I love PlayStation exclusives. I cover the Xbox beat. It doesn't mean that you can enjoy both,
¿Por qué no las dos?
Yeah, whatever that meant.
It means mine, not both. I think.
I think.
Spanish.
Spanish.
Pretty sure.
I'm pretty sure that's Spanish. Might be Italian. Not quite there.
Someone's going to let us know. I guarantee it. So yeah, look for, and I should add too, Xbox One X support will be part of the No Man's Sky release.
I think this will be very pretty.
Xbox One should be real nice in
Yeah.
what I presume will be 4K, either native or checkerboarded.
Yeah.
Should look really good on a 4K TV.
Yeah.
Because the color palette, say what you will about No Man's Sky, you cannot fault the color palette.
Oh my God, I hope they have HDR support for
Yeah.
No Man's Sky, because
Yes.
it sucks, man. If you've never seen HDR in action, it is on a game. There's no better no better yardstick than seeing Forza with HDR.
It was like that with Gears 4 for
in
me.
native 4K.
It was like,
Yeah.
oh
Oh my God.
man.
You literally can't see it in internet videos.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like
Can't.
even in the Xbox One X review that I put up, I was like, hey, note that it looks even better than it looks here because we can't show you HDR. And I heard that I was talking to some of the tech guys on our team, and I heard that the tech to put HDR out exists. It's just prohibitively expensive.
Well, I think the new phones, probably both Samsung and Apple, have HDR
Yeah.
in them.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
like they can output.
displays.
Yeah, they
Yeah.
can display.
So interestingly enough, they now have to also develop games with HDR in mind, in that you make a game and you see it on whatever your PC screen is. They don't have HDR, and then they have to put it on the TV and be like, okay, this is how it looks with HDR.
Mm-hmm.
So they actually have to compare the two to make sure that they both line up, because HDR looks better, but you don't want to like overdevelop for it or whatever. So
Yeah.
like it's like everything's changing in the direction of HDR.
Very odd that who would have thought 5 or even certainly 10 years ago that displays would be like the weird limiting factor.
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
I
know.
You'd have to account for
Yeah.
when making a game. Not
How
the
does
box.
it look on the TV? Okay.
Not the plastic toy box like Brandon was mentioning a minute ago, but the actual display.
Yeah.
Go figure.
Crazy.
I played Halo Blood Gulch sessions for days on end on the ugliest CRT TV known to man. So we've come a long way.
We have. It's funny. I saw somebody in my neighborhood. I was out walking Daisy, and they had left an old CRT
Yeah.
TV out on the curb for the like the big trash pickup
Yeah.
and seeing it was startling because I hadn't even.
What the hell is that?
Why is it so big?
When I now think about, like, I never thought about it till just seeing a CRT just startled me. We didn't even notice that CRTs completely phased out of society. They're gone.
Yeah.
There's still a faction of people who like, well, it's just, this is how it's meant to be enjoyed, you know?
But you walk this entire office, there's not a single CRT.
There's one at Sam's desk that he uses to play retro
Oh, you're
games
right.
on.
Actually, there is.
That's what I'm talking
Yeah,
about.
there is.
Retro gamers still want CRTs.
But like in general, something that was 100% of all displays were CRTs.
Yeah.
And now, at least it feels like in my life, anywhere I go, 0% of them.
Yeah.
Like they've just completely gone away.
It's one of those things where if you see one, like you said,
Yeah.
you stop and do a double take. Like,
wait
oh,
a second.
wow. I thought it's like seeing a gremlin or something. It's
like I had I had a DLP before my flat
Yeah.
screen, which was, it's not technically a CRT, but
Right.
it's, it's not a flat
Lower
panel either.
profile, yeah.
So that was, I guess, 6-something years ago, because I've had my current plasma since 2011.
oh wow.
So
Time to
yeah,
upgrade.
it's I know, but
We've had this conversation
Stop.
about
Yeah,
4K.
it's fine.
You're waiting.
I'm actually
Well-
planning to get a 4K TV this year, finally. Yeah, I'm going to do it for Black
want
Friday.
one.
Enjoying.
It's a matter of financial priorities and
Yeah.
things. It's
Hence, I'm waiting for Black Friday.
Yeah. And
But
I
I've
think
decided that the thing that really made me want to take the jump is that right now I have a HDMI splitter, because I have my N64, I have a Wii U, a Switch, Xbox One, and PS4 all plugged in to a HDMI splitter, so I can have them all through the TV.
Yep.
And I have to like figure out which input is which and whatever. But with the smart TV, it's just like, this is your Xbox One, and like
Yeah.
this, and I'm like, what? Hold up, what? The TV knows which one is which.
yeah, I love it. And especially there's nothing to do with the consoles, but I love smart TVs that are most 4K TVs that that include HDR even are smart. So I can just literally press a button and I'm like, do I want to watch Netflix or Hulu or Amazon Prime or Vudu?
Like
or-
even that's you can get smart TVs that aren't 4K, but it's like if I'm
Yeah,
gonna get a smart
yeah.
TV, and I have my PC plugged in as well, it's just too many things, and it's like it's so much easier to manage.
I feel like
Convenience.
the two games that one is still MIA, but one, it's the games that would really, really push me to trying to do it, to try to finally get a 4K TV would be Red Dead 2.
Yeah,
Because
okay.
I mean,
That was a given. Yeah.
how could that not look amazing on an X? And then Halo 6.
Yeah.
Like, that's going to be teed up.
I think the one that pushed me over the edge was actually The Witcher. That was the
Ooh,
one that
yeah,
I was
that
like,
was good.
this has Xbox One X support. I should get
That
a
was
4K
recent.
TV.
Yeah, it just got
Right.
that recently.
And that was the one that made me like, this year I'm buying one because of The Witcher.
Apparently, the enhancements on that like crush. It looks really good, supposedly.
Yeah.
I just got done updating the wiki for Xbox One X versus PS4 Pro resolution enhancements.
Yeah.
Yesterday. So it's amazing to see like the level of support that not only is going into the back catalog, but that they're adding to just every game coming out. You know.
Yeah.
So there's. I mean, once I got my One X, like that is now my multi-platform console and. Monster Hunter and, we'll see if these recently, but now I'm into Far Cry 5 and like all these games just look so amazing. And then I come into the office and someone's playing on like a standard Xbox or standard PS4 on like a 30-inch LCD. And I'm just like, well, that's a whole different world.
You can really see the difference.
Yeah, you really can.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's pretty crazy.
All right.
What I'm trying to say is #blessed. Okay. That's
There
it.
you go. Let's
You're right.
count them. Never take them for granted. That's the
I
thing.
know. All the pixels.
Speaking of games that are going through some big changes,
Good segue. I was wondering how you were going to do that one. All
thank
right.
you.
Oh, I like it.
I've only been doing this for
Well
I think
done.
After long enough, I could luck into a good segue or two here and there. Rip Destin, he was the master.
He was really great at that. R.I.P.
Middle-earth Shadow of War is completely permanently getting rid of microtransactions. They are being patched out of the game entirely. Here's a statement from WB/Monolith. While purchasing orcs in the market is more immediate and provides additional player options, we have come to realize that providing this choice risked undermining the heart of our game, the Nemesis system. It allows you to miss out on the awesome player stories you would have otherwise created, and it compromises those same stories even if you don't buy anything. Simply being aware that they are available for purchase reduces the immersion in the world and takes away from the challenge of building your personal army and your fortresses. In order to fully restore the core promise of the Nemesis system, will be permanently removing gold, war chests, and the market from Shadow of War. This means the option to purchase gold with real-world money and the ability to gain orc followers from war chests will be removed.
A little bit late.
That's what I want to talk about. Why?
The
Why
timing?
now? Why do you do this now? When the game came out in August last year?
Yep.
Yeah.
So it's been over 6 months?
It's an interesting
8 or 9.
one. Okay. Perhaps they are finally coming out with another game that uses the Nemesis system, and it's reminding us how awesome that system is. Perhaps that's the purpose. Maybe it's in preparation for the third game in the series. It's them talking about how good the Nemesis system is, and they're right. Like, and this is it's good criticism from them of their own game. But I would guess that it is being used as marketing to sell that system for some reason.
That's where I'm at now. This is a not to say it's not genuine, but this sounds like a marketing tool to return the good faith to the series and the game for an eventual, probably third game in the series.
I don't think they're using it to sell Shadow of War.
I don't think so either.
Right.
I think they're using it to
Something
return,
else.
to get people back on board with, oh, those guys up in Monolith, they sure care about their players and they understand when they've made a mistake. The gaming audience loves nothing more than someone who falls to their knees and was like, hey, we were wrong,
It even could be, like in the most cynical way looking at it, could be, they're not making money from it anymore. So they were like, oh, let's wait until people stop buying them and then just take it off so people like us again.
That's a good point too.
Which is possible.
It's a business.
I mean,
Yeah.
it is a way to get the name back in the headlines, right? It is a way to get gamers who feel jilted or people who listen to their friends or streamers or whomever who said, "Oh man, microtransactions ruined this game. Don't buy Shadow of War." Now they can be like, "Oh, I haven't tried that yet. I can get it on a discount somewhere now that it's been removed." There's a lot of different ways you could read into this, but what are your takes?
Well, I think you might have hit the nail on the head, Alana. Is I think what you're trying to say is that it's not so much about the now, but it's about changing the narrative for the inevitable Middle Earth blank of War 3.
Right.
Yeah.
So that when that game's announced in a year and a half from now, I guess like probably E3 2019,
Yeah.
that the narrative isn't about, oh, well, screw you guys, you had the you had those terrible microtransactions that we all hated in the last game. You get that out of the way now so that the next game doesn't have any of that baggage from Shadow of War.
Yeah, or it's a WB game that's working, a different WB game that has the Nemesis system in it, which is wishful thinking for me. Is that when
I know exactly
when it came out, the Nemesis system, I was like, every game's going to have this. This is the best. This is so smart. Every game should have this. So maybe this could be like WB is making a different game that's not necessarily Monolith, because as the publisher, they would have to agree to removing microtransactions, that has the Nemesis system, and they're trying to get that back in the headlines with the good faith of how, like, this system is so impressive that it's hurt if we have microtransactions in it. That's how intricate it is. And they're like trying to put it in something else.
What would
One or the other.
What would that other property to use the Nemesis system be, Alana?
Anything. Well, I actually wish that Mad Max had it at the time.
Oh, that's what I was going to say. Yeah.
That would have been super
That
cool.
or Batman.
Yes.
Yeah.
Batman's the
Batman
obvious
slash
choice.
Justice League would be what I would want right now.
I think the Mad Max series is the more obvious choice than Batman. Batman has these canned iconic villains that are great. And if you use the Nemesis system, it's like
I don't know how it would work.
there's a crazy guy in Arkham and he's got
if you
purple
have-
hair and
you have-
a flamethrower.
You could absolutely work that into a Batman. I mean,
You could absolutely,
I'm
yeah,
no
for
game
sure.
designer,
But
like, you work your way up from like the street thugs to the lieutenants to like the second in commands of Two-Face's crew.
yeah, but you'd all be
Absolutely.
like just fighting thugs, right? Whereas Mad Max and the Dogs of War, the War Boys, what are they called?
Yeah, War Boys.
I mean, man, there's a lot you can do with that.
But how cool
It's-
would it be in Batman if you could get to a point where, and it has happened canonically, you could start recruiting people like Two-Face as a chief. That'd be cool as hell.
That's the other thing that I was wondering. Like, yeah, that would be cool. I agree. I don't think that Batman would be like, all right, I have my crack squad of 6 supervillains, and we're gonna
It's
go.
almost like
rid
some
the
kind of Suicide Squad.
Oh,
You're off the show, Alana. It's been a good run.
you know what?
Thanks.
I'll take this one. I'm off the show. Versus like Mad Max being like, he's beat the crap out of Tuga, the humongous, and recruited him into his service out of fear. Like that makes more sense to me.
I have nothing to base this off of other than my own gut here, but something tells me we're not going to be seeing a Mad Max game again, because the
think
game
so.
really seemed to come out at the wrong time and
Well, it came out
really
late, yeah.
just seemed to come out way after the film.
Well, originally it wasn't going to have the Fury Road treatment on it,
Yeah.
and then after that movie exploded, from what I understand, they were like, "All right, it'd be stupid not to."
But it really seemed to, even though it was a good game, I think it got an 8 point something.
I gave it an
You
8.4.
You did.
Yeah.
So it seemed like it really just came and went as far as the community's conversation. Like it just never really stuck.
It
I
sucks.
spoke about it on the show that was I played more of that game than I intended to because it had uneven achievements. It had like 3G.
Oh.
And so my gamer score was like an uneven number and it drove me crazy. So I put in several hours just building up like, all right, I can get 1 gamer score if I do that, and 2
that
if I get that, and 2
achievement
if I get
OCD.
drove me crazy. So I put in like way more time than I intended to. And then there was still a bunch of achievements left in it that were uneven. So I was like, I'm never touching this game
You're
again.
done.
I'm
Yeah.
not risking getting
Yeah.
the uneven achievements.
I like that.
It was fun though.
You guys were having the Twitter conversation about, or was it a cell phone conversation? But you guys were talking about achievement score and who is higher. And Ryan, you had said that you'd
It was on
given up.
Twitter, yeah.
No, that was on Xbox Live when we were all
was on
trying
Xbox
to
Live.
group up on Sea of Thieves.
You
Yeah,
had
my
said
career.
you had given up, and like that's where I was 5 years ago, right? Like I just don't really care about achievements anymore. I like getting them, but like I don't hunt for them.
For me, the ship
Kind of the same.
The ship sailed a long time ago because, for those that aren't aware, the original Xbox, but particularly the 360, when achievements were born,
Yeah.
the media had these things called debug
Yep.
kits
Yeah.
that connected to a shadow Xbox Live service called PartnerNet, which is where developers could test things and prop things up. And so we would get review builds of things, because this was the every game has a day one update
Right.
era, where we would actually get things way in advance and be able to review them in plenty of time and have that be reflective of the product you would get on day one. So I had but Live and PartnerNet they couldn't
They never
talk to each
synced,
other.
yeah. So the
I had
problem is-
tens of thousands of achievement points
Yeah.
on my PartnerNet debug kit gamer tag.
Mm-hmm.
So I basically had my achievements split into some hidden ones that no one but me could ever see, and then the real world. So
sucks.
it got just to a point where I was like, I'm done. Like,
I mean, back when I had more time and it wasn't my job, is that I would play I would play more of something than I wanted to
Yeah.
for the achievements. Whereas now I tend to, if I'm like, I really like this game, oh, what are some of the achievements I can get to get more time out of it? I'll do it. So I care a lot less than I did, but I still care enough to be like, I want to be the IGN employee with the most gamer score.
Avatar: The Last Airbender, the quickest 1,000 points.
Yeah, everyone. I didn't do
5
that.
minutes.
I didn't buy that.
Supposedly,
Like I didn't do that kind of stuff. There are
5
people who
minutes.
play like My Little Pony games because they're easy
Yeah,
and like
I
all that
know.
kind of stuff. And
I'm with you though. Like I would play like Minecraft 360. I think there was an achievement to. It was either like using the electrical grid or building a cart that went
there
for
totally was one.
500 miles, and I'm like, I just want to stop playing this game right now, but
Yeah.
I'm so close.
Well, that's what I was like with Zoo Tycoon when I was talking about that. I just made the animals breed because I was like, I need the achievement
Mate,
for all of you breeding.
mate.
Yeah.
But with Far Cry 5, I kind of got a little bit of that rekindling. I enjoyed it. I forgot what it felt like to like have short-term goals that you can achieve relatively easily.
Yeah.
It's like snipe a guy in the head from 150 meters away with a bow or a rifle. I'm like, I can do that.
They just do such a good job of adding almost side quests to
Yeah.
every game. And you don't have to do them. It doesn't tell you in game that you have to do them. It's just like, I think they're like, I don't know, great additions and one of the best things that
Yeah.
Microsoft invented.
And I know I've said this on the podcast before, but even though I've given up the achievement hunt in general,
It's still in your heart, always and forever.
Yeah, the proudest, but if you go down my whole public gamer tag card, it's 1 versus 100 is my proudest ones because I have all 12 out of 12, and because it only lasted such a short time, you can't get them again. You will never ever get those again. They're
cool.
They're like
I don't even know what you're talking about right now.
1 versus 100.
I mean, I know the game, but like all 12 is
12 achievements.
yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, the digital games.
Yeah,
had
it had a max.
You
yeah.
know, you
Less.
covered Live Arcade. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I got them all. I got every achievement you could get
Wow.
in 1 versus 100.
That is pretty great.
For the the 2 months it existed
Yeah.
or something
Yeah.
before it went away.
I know
So
my
that's-
first
God, I
1000 G
forgot that was
game was Prototype.
I think mine was Oblivion.
Oh, interesting.
That's-
That one would be hard. That'd be long.
It's just time.
yeah.
Yeah.
Which back then I played
had.
I had lots
so
of-
much Oblivion.
Yeah.
I don't even know. I mean, I'm sick of stab in the dark. Say Kingdom for
Oh.
Kelflings, maybe.
Actually, Oblivion might have been my second 1,000-point game because probably the easiest of the launch window titles for the 360. Peter Jackson's King Kong.
Oh, yeah.
You just had to finish the game.
Yeah.
You just get all 1,000 just
Yeah.
by virtue of finishing it. And it's like a 8-hour game.
Yeah.
Something like
Gun
that.
was pretty easy too because you could get all the endings by just loading a save to a checkpoint and then changing the difficulty.
Yeah.
So that one was pretty simple as well, and that was pretty close to
Dirty.
360 launch. I didn't do it, unfortunately. I didn't
all the
know.
all the tricks in the tool.
I didn't save it. I saved it after I had finished.
See, I used to do this. Like I played Spec Ops: The Line, which
Yes.
is an
Good video game.
excellent game that is mediocre in the mechanics as far as cover-based shooting goes. But that game was not easy, right? It was not super hard, but I played it on the hardest difficulty I could because I just wanted to get all the achievements in one fell swoop. And I almost didn't finish it because I was just so tired of dying in one specific spot over and over throughout various points in the game.
Yep.
So glad I did though, because that ending is oof.
It's a good game.
Walt Williams somewhere is smiling right now.
Yeah.
The game's writer.
You done good, Walt. I love that game.
All right.
He has a book out now.
Let's wrap up the news with the last story, which might be, I mean, this title, it's just something else.
Do I even dare?
It's something else. Red Faction Guerrilla. I teased it at the top of the podcast. So we did the story, I don't know, a month ago, maybe right around there,
Ooh, that's gross.
where, if you go back, Deep Silver had bought Volition, the developer, but
Right.
THQ Nordic Studios that became THQ Nordic had owned the Red Faction IP. Well, THQ Nordic bought Volition, so now it's all under one roof. Maybe we're going to get a new Red Faction game, and this is actually some evidence to support that theory. We're getting a Red Faction Guerrilla remaster. I love that we're going back to Guerrilla and skipping the inferior Red Faction Armageddon.
Right.
Yeah.
This is the smart move. But Red Faction Guerrilla remastered edition, which can take a long walk off a short pier as far as titles go. That is terrible.
To spell it out, it's RE-MARS-STERED.
There's
But
one too many S's
well,
in there.
I might have transcribed it poorly.
Okay. So it might be
don't-
remastered.
don't focus so much on the nitty gritty here.
Oh, that was an accident.
I
It
remember
was a lot of fun.
when we were talking about getting original Red Dead Redemption like remastered, people just kept calling it remastered edition,
Oh, nice.
which I like.
Yeah.
Like I'm fine with that, but this one just seems, I don't know.
So
it's
a
played-
terrible name for a
Portmanteaus.
good game. Red Faction Guerrilla. So the updates here, you're going to get, once again, Xbox One X support. Native 4K. You're getting fully reworked graphics, including heavily reworked textures and graphic features, adding, for instance, specular maps being added, improved shadow rendering, improved lighting, improved shader and post-processing work to go with that 4K support. It's out in Q2, which actually is now. We
Yeah.
just don't have a specific date yet.
Starting yesterday.
So that'll be out basically before E3, probably. The odds are very good.
I imagine so, yeah.
Yeah, because the Q2 would technically run up through June 30th. And no price yet, which is a little concerning.
Strange.
I wonder if they're just trying to gauge the feedback on the announcement itself before trying to put a price on it, rather than be like, okay, it's out and it's $30, and people are like, oh, that's way too much, or oh, what a bargain. So
Yeah.
I would be shocked if this is more than $40.
Yeah.
That would be my guess on this, is $39.99.
Yeah. I feel you on that.
Did you guys play Guerrilla in its time, or will you?
I played the only Guerrilla. I want to say it was Red Faction. No,
what?
sorry.
We're talking about?
Let me turn this over.
sense.
I have played Red Faction. I don't think it was Guerrilla.
Armageddon.
Oh.
Was Armageddon the first one?
No, Armageddon came after Guerrilla.
Okay.
Which is what I was
So
talking about.
it was probably Guerrilla. In high school, I went over to my buddy's house, and we would just do death matches where we would get the rocket launcher and blow holes into the walls to get through to the other base.
It went 1, 2, Guerrilla, Armageddon.
It might have been 1 or 2 then. I don't know when they added the dynamic map
2
destruction.
2 came out on original Xbox, was ported
Right.
from PC.
Okay.
1, I don't think ever did. And then, of course, Guerrilla and Armageddon.
I
were
think 2
360.
still had the destruction, though.
It did.
It was probably
just wasn't
Guerrilla
as intense,
because he
obviously.
only
Yeah.
had a PlayStation, so I imagine it was Guerrilla.
I think I think the original might have come out on. Or
Yes, I've played a little bit of Red Faction in my day.
Anyway,
Same.
that was a long walk for nothing.
Yeah, it really was.
Wasting our listeners' time. Of course, that's kind of what we do here. That's
Well,
sort of the mark of the show.
bit.
I mean, it was kind of a light show, but we've had fun.
But yeah, so that name, no, not on board with it.
Remastered. Is
Hopefully
that the worst one?
Maz stud.
It's real bad.
I always thought Revengeance was real bad.
Revengeance
Metal Gear Rising
is
Revengeance.
pretty
Yeah.
terrible.
Yeah.
As far as pun names.
What does it even mean? It just doesn't make any sense.
Oh, the Dead Rising 4 remaster on PS4.
No, but that one's funny.
Is it?
Yeah.
Is it, Alana?
Oh, the
Yeah.
police.
Yeah, it is.
It's the dick
Yeah.
joke, right?
It's Dead Rising 4, Frank's Big Package.
right.
Yeah, I'm fine with that.
And
and that DLC they came out with,
I'm
that
okay.
if it's meant to be funny,
Okay, so I see where the line is drawn.
but
It's
the line is drawn is like if you just chuck the word Maz in there as a pun, then
like-
get out.
I get
Just-
so
time for that.
humor, fractured butthole,
Fine.
Frank's Big Package.
Fine.
That's all in the good place.
Yeah.
The bad place is Revengeance, remastered.
It's anything that starts with RE, really.
Yeah.
Kingdom Come Deliverance is the same thing. It's like just call it Kingdom Come. It's fine. You don't have to.
Kingdom Come Deliverance. Yeah.
Kingdoms of Amalur Reckoning. Just Kingdoms of Amalur would have been fine.
Oh, Reckoning.
Stop
yeah.
putting a
Like
colon.
They have to put an adjective in there, but they're
Yeah.
like, can't put it before the name because the name's got to get that SEO.
If I haven't spent any time with Kingdom Come Deliverance, but given its setting, I don't know if there are any sort of religious themes in it.
Oh, like yeah. Well, I mean, it's
don't think so.
mid-century.
Say, if there are, then they could get away with in 5
Deliverance.
years doing Kingdom Come Deliverance remastered edition, like church mass. But otherwise,
See, for whatever reason, I'm fine with that too. I don't know why that one I like. Good old religious humor.
Oh, I have a Kingdoms of Amalur one. Since they never paid the state of Rhode Island back, it's Kingdom of Amalur's Reconine. All right, I'll go.
Wasn't Connecticut.
Yeah, it was
No,
Rhode
but the
Island.
point is that they really screwed up the entirety of
it was
Rhode
a con.
Island.
Long
and-
con.
It was a con.
Yeah.
I'm with you now.
No, I'm on board.
with you.
All right, I can still leave. It's fine.
Just maybe leave anyway.
Yeah, okay. Thanks, guys. It's been fun.
We're gonna come up with a list of banned
And
reissue
puns.
names
Okay,
for
yeah.
video games.
Yeah.
that are the do not fly, the no fly list for those.
There's probably one called the No Fly List somewhere.
Anyway, yeah. So that this has to be a teaser or a let's just reignite the interest in Red Faction, and if this doesn't outright tank, we'll spin up a new Red Faction game.
Maybe.
Yeah, THQ Nordic have been doing that a fair bit. I mean, they also had the Definitive Edition for Darksiders.
Oh, that's it.
Also
That's the winner.
terrible.
That's the winner.
Yeah.
Right there. I forgot about that.
But every
one.
time you have to say definitive, it's like really hard to
Definitive.
say.
Sorry, what
So
was that?
they've been doing that a fair bit, but they obviously are making Darksiders 3. So I think this
Yeah.
is kind of their strategy: is remaster it and then see how it goes.
Well, and the thing is, I wonder if that's really going on, just because Volition shipped Agents of Mayhem last summer, long before this acquisition.
Yeah.
So they have had to be in pre-production on something. I would seriously doubt it was Agents of Mayhem 2. It was probably something else, either a new Saints Row, like a reboot, or a new Saints Row game, or just a new IP entirely. I wonder if, because it happens all the time that something can be in pre-production and then something else comes along and
Right.
you just cancel that thing and move on to the new thing. I wonder if Volition is now in the early stages of a new Red Faction game
Maybe.
now with the IP back in house, or
mean,
or
that-
if they're continuing on with whatever they started after Agents of Mayhem.
Yeah. That yard sale took a long time to complete too, for like to sell all the IP. So I'm wondering, maybe they had a team that just didn't have anything to do, and they're like, well, let's remaster, or like testing software tools or something. I don't know.
Yeah, it could very well be. So take a look. As soon as we have more info on the release date and price, we will obviously pass that along. All right, Alana, we have... Oh, last thing. Sorry, there is one more thing. More original Xbox games are going to be added to the backwards compatibility list soon, which is excellent news. Major Nelson's Inside Xbox show that he's doing, I think, once a month right now. The first episode aired on a Saturday.
Yeah.
This one's airing during the week. It's going to be
Tuesday.
next Thursday, I believe.
Thursday?
Or
It's going to be
Tuesday.
April 10th.
Yeah, thank you. And I believe it was 3:30 p.m.
Oh, that's
Pacific.
a week from
yeah.
today.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we know for sure they've already teased we're going to get some original Xbox announcements. Give me your short list, 3 games you want to see. We can lay out now.
I don't think I can do that because
Yeah.
now at this stage I'm not up to date with everything that's been
I don't
announced.
even remember.
Well,
what
there's
I
only
had
the
for
original.
lunch.
It's what is it? It's like 13, or it's just that first batch so far.
Well, Jade Empire,
Yeah,
That
that's-
counts. Yes, it's a good choice.
still Riddick.
Yeah. To be fair, that is playable. There was the 360 version
Right.
that had the extra content.
For a third one.
I like targeting things that you just can't get anymore.
Yeah, Kingdom.
I get that.
Kingdom Under
For
Fire
me-
2 Crusaders.
Really?
Yeah.
Boy, you are digging
All right.
deep for that.
I was all about that. All right, picture this: Dynasty Warriors set in the Lord of the Rings universe, and you can control your armies, and then you wade in there with big, giant anime men with swords. It's so much fun. It was so much fun.
Yeah. That genre was huge back
yeah,
then.
yeah.
That
Well,
was just...
what's
99 Nights was
Yeah,
big.
yeah.
Dynasty Warriors was just pumping out successful games left and right.
99 Nights was Dreamcast, wasn't it?
No, that was 360.
That was 360.
360.
Yeah.
Okay.
Not original Xbox, but...
I
Yeah.
played a lot of that game.
They were making a Kingdom Under Fire 3, and it was by, I think it was Fantagram, a Korean-based company. But they have been, I don't even know. It might be vaporware now, but like for years and years and years, they finally decided to turn it into an MMO on PS3 or 4. And then I think it just fizzled. It might have released regionally. I don't think it ever came to the US.
Right.
But that was sort of going to be the return to that big, like huge armies versus armies, because this beforehand it was Kingdom Under Fire. I want to say it was called Circle of Doom, which was just a third-person hack and slash dungeon diving game. But man, that series, I would love another crack at it. 2, I like 2 better.
I will keep saying Splinter Cell Chaos Theory
course,
until I'm blue
yeah.
until I'm green in the face.
Oh,
Yeah.
with
Mechasalt?
envy.
Mechasalt.
Yeah,
another
that's
great
going to be my
call.
3 that I pick.
Yeah, you because you can't play Mechasalt unless
Yeah,
you have an
I think
original
that's a
Xbox.
fair idea. Yeah.
It's also
I
a
think-
first-party IP, so the odds are higher that they could do that. They own FASA.
You can play Jade Empire on PC.
Yeah,
Yes.
you can.
I think
you can
still-
Get it.
You can still play. Technically, you can play Chaos Theory on PC too.
Yeah.
but,
It's not the same.
it's not the same. So yeah,
I'm trying to remember what games I played on the OG Xbox, and like all I'm coming up with are the
Brute
real
Force.
bad ones. Brute Force, Tao Fang, Fist of the
No.
Lotus. Like I'm remembering the real bad blockbuster ones where I was just like a dumb kid, like, yeah, this is great.
I can never remember if it was Tao Fang or there was another one It was Tao Feng that was the one that was pulled from shelves because it contained
It might have been.
like a piece of music or something that was considered offensive in a certain culture.
Oh, I don't know.
It was either Tao Feng or there were. Nah, my brain's failing me right now. But it was like I think it was a first party game that suffered this fate.
Well,
anyway,
I don't think it was
Breakdown.
very memorable. Yeah,
Breakdown. I will always. That's never going to happen because that's a cult classic, right?
Yeah.
That's like a cult classic of a cult classic.
I'd love if they made another one of those now. Like with the tech of that game now would be crazy.
If you had to use a gun, which there were times where you did, the controls were pretty clunky, but it was mostly the hand-to-hand, the melee stuff in first person. And it was one of the first-person melee games. But the story, that game had one of the coolest science fiction stories I've ever played in a
Totally.
game.
It was super impressive.
By the end of it, you're just like, what?
Yeah.
I mean,
I think we put it on our like games that we want
I think
list.
I brute forced it onto the list.
Yeah.
I thought we already did this bit.
We probably did.
Still going.
I remember another terrible one, AVP, the RTS that came to the original Xbox.
Yeah, that wasn't great.
No.
I can't remember any good original Xbox.
What
games.
is
So many
wrong
bad
with
alien
you?
games.
Crimson Skies?
That's already up. That was in the first batch.
All right, well, what do you want from
I'm
me?
getting confused because I know some have been announced since then. Like I know, like I've got my Fable, so that's why I'm confused.
Yeah,
It's like
there've just been a couple.
What's everything on the list at this point? But this is great. I'm happy that they're still supporting it and publicly. And like the tweet was something like, "We know you've all been asking for this, so we're going to give you another batch of them." And I love this program. I think it's great.
Absolutely fantastic.
Yeah.
We'll have to see if any of these have Xbox One X enhancements too, the
Yeah.
way that KOTOR did. All right, now we're done. Let's do.
Don't have
the
my
game
attached
releases, that I forgot to bring in here. So while I see if I can fetch that real quick, talk about the games with Go for April.
Yay.
Marketplace, April games with Go. We have The Witness, April 1st to 30th, Xbox One. Did you play that?
The Witness. I started it like five hours, I want to say. So I got a little bit in.
We have a speed run up on IGN right now of someone finishing the entire game in, I think it's like 19 minutes or something.
Holy crap.
It took me, I don't know, 20 hours to finish
Yeah.
the game. It's a fantastic game. It's a puzzle game. I really, really like it.
Chloe was talking about like once you quote unquote beat the game, like there's another meta layer on top of it. It just blew my. I'm like, I don't have that kind of dedication.
There's this thing in it called the challenge, which Andrew I think is probably the only person in the office that finished.
It might have been it.
Where the whole of the Mountain King plays.
Yeah.
So it's that song that like builds and intense.
do,
Yeah,
do,
and it gets
do,
more intense as you go, and it randomizes the puzzles every time that you play it. So every time that you're playing through it, you can't just like remember the puzzle.
That
It's
would give me an
insane.
anxiety attack.
Well, it's also that like a puzzle that you solve in one room will affect the next room, so
Yeah.
you have to remember what the puzzle looked like. It's super cool, but there's no way that I could ever do it. But it was just like finishing is basically getting to the bottom of the mountain. So,
But if you
very
like,
impressive
if you like
speedrun.
puzzle games, I think we gave it a 10.
Yeah, gave it a 10. Yeah.
Yeah.
Chloe reviewed it, I think. Assassin's Creed Syndicate, April 16 to 15 on Xbox One. It is the only Assassin's Creed game I haven't played, and I heard it's very good. It's the only one I didn't play.
It is not the only one I haven't played, but I also haven't played it.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I heard it was good too.
Marty really likes it. I know that much.
I heard it was sort of a
reviewed
redemption
it.
song after Unity, for a lot
Yeah.
of players who kind of felt jilted by the brand. But
Yeah.
I mean that's cool. That's still a fairly expensive game. I want to say it's $40 right now.
Yeah. Disney/Pixar's Cars 2, April 1st to 15, Xbox One and
Hot
Xbox 360. And Dead Space 2. Very good game. April 16, 230, Xbox One and Xbox 360. RIP Dead Space.
And I totally forgot to print that list this week,
All right,
so I'll just
read it
rattle
out.
them off real quick here. We've got the Adventure Pals.
I heard good things about that.
Yeah, we've got Minute, MINIT.
Also
an
heard good
adventure
things
played-
about
I've
Yeah,
heard good things about that too.
60 seconds at a time, where you'll journey outside the comfort of your home to help unusual characters uncover countless secrets and overcome dangerous foes, all in hopes of lifting an unfortunate curse that ends each day after just 1 minute.
Yeah.
Kind of a Groundhog Day type.
I like that a lot.
My Twitter feed is saying really good things about that so
Okay,
far.
I'll have to check it out.
Terra, which has been an MMO that's been on other platforms for a while. It's on the way to Xbox. I believe this is a free-to-play MMO as well. Raiders of the Broken Planet, Hades Betrayal. It's an expansion pack for Raiders of the Broken Planet. You've got Dangan Feveron.
Oh yes.
It's the 20th anniversary. It's been out for 20 years, whatever it is.
Been out for what?
Vertical-style bullet hell shooter. This is the first I've heard of it.
Wow.
I thought I was old, but I guess I'm not as in touch as I
Not
thought.
if you're young at heart, Ryan.
A Dead Ahead Zombie Warfare, and Enigmatis 3, The Shadow of Carcalla. The demonic preacher has escaped to the mountains in pursuit of a grim secret that could give him ultimate power.
Sounds like True Detective season 3.
He has already eluded the detective and her partner Hamilton twice.
Nailed it.
Once in Maple Creek and again in Ravenwood. Play this finale that's full of adventure, hidden object puzzles, and ancient... Whoops, that's a typo. Ancient mysterious. I think you mean ancient mysteries on that. But
Also, speaking of weird video games, Swery, his Kickstarter for his new game about the lives of cats and dogs is up. So check that
cool.
out. That's the guy
Nice.
who made Deadly Premonition, which is my favorite game. So check that out.
your guilty pleasure.
It's such a good game. It's not even guilty. I just really
You're not
like
no
it.
more guilt anymore.
It's great.
Yeah. All right, let's do Unlock Block trivia real quick. The unfortunate disadvantage to Miranda here. By the way, scoring correction. A couple people actually tweeted and wrote in that I goofed on scoring a couple weeks back. So the actual updated standings are Alana at 5, Brandon at 4, Miranda at 3.
Oh, no.
Don't have a 3-way tie. Still close, though.
That's weird.
Still very close. And so Scott from Swansea, Massachusetts asks an original Xbox question. I think we're talking about that topic this week.
15.
Name the game that was originally made to be the sequel to the 2005 original Xbox first-person shooter Pariah, which I reviewed for OXM way back in the day, but was in fact released as its own IP in 2006.
I'm going to call such BS if you say you know this.
Oh, I have
Was
no
this
idea.
game
I have zero clue.
No, I have no
Yeah.
idea.
Dark Watch, Painkiller, Warpath, or 13?
All right, I'm going to go first.
Yeah.
I'm just going to take a stab in the dark and say Painkiller because I know that's a first-person shooter. Used to be on the pro scene for a while. Painkiller, B, final answer.
Okay.
I'm going to go with A, Dark Watch, for no reason.
All right. Well, Miranda will be happy that neither of you got it right.
Okay,
It's
that's
Warpath.
good. That's okay, though.
It's fine.
It's
fine.
Warpath.
I had no idea.
Warpath.
Yeah,
Okay.
I
don't even remember.
Of these
Pariah.
games, I only know... Well, I know Warpath, I suppose, but I don't even know what Dark Watch is.
I will tell you, I didn't know this either. Yeah, Painkiller is a Doom-like.
Yeah.
You know, just fast, tons of monsters all the time, high-speed first-person shooter. And then 13 was really cool.
I played 13.
That was based off of a comic book, and it was an original Xbox first-person shooter that was completely comic book
It
cell
would, like,
shaded.
you could shoot and it would like have the like would point up and
Well,
it,
really?
it was very cool.
You'd hit a guy with a crossbow in the head, and you'd get the like no
Yeah.
block letters. That
Oh, that's
would come
cool.
up.
Very cool.
It was
yeah.
totally committed to the art style, and it was an excellent game. David Duchovny voiced the lead in that
Ooh.
one. Yes, Mulder himself.
Of Californication fame.
or
Yeah,
more
okay,
recent,
if you
I
want.
guess. Actually, no, X-Files is now the more recent thing.
I was trying to
Yeah,
think
you're
of the more obscure reference for David Duchovny. I know he's been in a lot of crap, but that's it.
That's
Yep.
it. That's
That
all
was
you
the end of the
got.
thought, guys.
All right, cool.
Scott, good job. If you want to try and stump everybody, just like Scott, please send your Xbox trivia question to unlocked@ign.com. Please include 4 multiple choice answers in your email and note the correct answer in your email, if you please. Time to go. But before we do, we'll just keep you up to date on what each of us is doing personally out on the Twitterverse and on the IGN-verse. Brandon?
Alana can go first.
Okay. I am
Mix
on
it up.
I appreciate it. I actually have to think about what I've done this week.
Yeah, sometimes someone like when I get asked
Better
like,
hope your boss isn't
Oh,
crap.
no.
He is listening.
I already said I updated the PS4 Pro, Xbox One X Enhanced Resolutions wiki page. I'm done for the week.
I'm on all of the social media at Charizard. It's my name in the middle of Charizard. Working on IGN First that I can't talk about yet for this month.
Yeah.
Working hard on that actually. And then I'm going to PAX with Miranda tomorrow. I'm on 4 panels. A couple about like getting into the games industry. There's one that I'm not allowed to announce yet. And we do have an IGN panel that is about, unfortunately, ranking the top 10 PS4 games. But even if you don't have a PS4, those are a lot of fun. The way we do it is we take audience interaction. So you can come, it's on Sunday at I think 12:30 at the Albatross Theater. You can basically come in and argue with us about which game's better, and it just like it gets so messy. And there are a lot of fun, and like us on the panel will have like the option of veto a suggestion, and they just get really chaotic. So come check that out, and yeah, we'll post on Twitter all of the panels that all the IGN staff are on in case anyone wants to come say hi.
Excellent.
Cool. I just finished up the Sea of Thieves review last week. Sort of in we had a long weekend, so it was nice. And now I'm doing housekeeping before I start the next thing that I'm not going to talk about just yet. But I'm on Twitter at Brandon Tyrell, and I am doing all the Lord's work for the Xbox channel. So
that's right, day in, day out. Follow this
out.
man at Brandon Tyrell for all Xbox things.
Hello. It's fun. I swear.
Me.
You can find me at DMC_Ryan. The Craig Duncan episode of Unfiltered is currently live. The next one airs actually next week. And that's going to be that was a fun one. I can't wait for everybody to see
I know
that.
what. Yeah, this is going to be a good one. Tune in.
That was really good. What is it?
I think I know what it is.
You probably do.
I'm sure you heard about it, but
Yeah.
I will say the last point on State of Decay 2.
Yeah.
You mentioned the live stream. If odds are you didn't catch the live stream, there is an archive up of it from either IGN or on YouTube. If you want to just go, I mean, the hour flew by. Like it's a quick hour of gameplay.
It's one whole
I mean
hour
that in a good way.
and it's in different regions this time. I think the only footage we've ever posted before was in the first region.
Yes.
Now we have actually seen the second region. I don't believe we saw the third, but we do see the second region as well. And there's some new stuff in there. So if you're pining for more information, you can scrub through that frame by frame.
Yeah. There's a lot of I've actually seen on Twitter a number of State of Decay super fans have done exactly that.
Yeah.
And yes, as Alana mentioned, we'll be kicking off April's IGN First next week.
Yeah.
As well. All right. Thanks everybody for another fun week of Xbox talk, and we will be back with you as always next week.